The Philippines is monitoring 4 active volcanoes at 3 different alert levels at the same time, and Mayon is still the one Philippine authorities are watching most closely. Mayon Volcano in Albay province sits on alert level 3. The continuous magmatic eruption that began on January 6th has now passed its 137th day. Lava is still flowing down 3 gullies. Pyroclastic density currents are still being recorded. Roughly 4,000 people are still inside evacuation centers. Bulusan in Sorsogon recorded 442 volcano-tectonic earthquakes. Between 4 p.m. on May 18th and 12 p.m. on May 20th, 55 of them located less than 5 kilometers below the volcanic edifice. Kanlaon on Negros Island holds at alert level 2, with sulfur dioxide emissions reaching 1,464 tons per day this week, and ash plumes rising to 1,500 meters above the summit. Taal in Batangas produced a minor phreatic eruption at 12:16 in the morning of May 17th, with gas and steam emissions reaching 2,400 meters above the crater rim. 4 volcanoes, 3 alert levels, 1 monitoring agency. But here is the detail that tells the real story. This is not one eruption repeating 4 times. Each volcano is doing something different. Different magma plumbing, different mechanisms, different danger zones. In Albay, evacuation center residents have been displaced for more than 3 weeks. They wear masks while caring for their toddlers. In Sorsogon, communities near Bulusan have been told to stay outside the 4-kilometer danger zone and watch for sudden steam blasts. On Negros Island, residents are watching ash emissions drift southwest. In Batangas, the entire Taal Volcano Island is off limits. On day 15, after Mayon's southwest collapse, Taal puffed steam at midnight. On day 16, Bulusan started fracturing. The same week, Kanlaon was emitting more than 1,400 tons of sulfur dioxide per day. And Mayon, the volcano that has been the headline since January 6th, has not stopped. Mayon is still the headline. But it is not the only volcano in the Philippines sending signals today. Here is what Mayon is doing this week. During May 14th to 20th, PHIVOLCS recorded continuous lava effusion from the summit crater. Between 2 and 14 pyroclastic density currents per 24-hour window. 287 to 428 incandescent rockfalls per day. 20 to 71 volcanic earthquakes daily, including 15 to 39 episodes of volcanic tremor, some lasting 1 minute, others stretching to 2 hours and 7 minutes. Sulfur dioxide stayed in the mid-1,000 tons per day range. Short periods of lava fountaining were observed during May 13th through 15th. Minor Strombolian activity continued through May 16th. Ash and gas plumes rose as high as 1.3 kilometers above the summit and drifted in 8 separate directions across the week. The 3 lava flows are no longer lengthening. 3.8 kilometers in Basud Gully on the east flank. 3.2 kilometers in Bonga Gully on the southeast. 1.6 kilometers in Mi-isi Gully on the south. The 6-kilometer permanent danger zone is strictly prohibited, with the southern sector treated as a 7 to 8 kilometer extended danger zone where pyroclastic flows are most likely to travel. PHIVOLCS Volcano Monitoring Chief Ma Antonia Bornas has explained the mechanism that triggered the May 2nd flow. The lava deposit at the head of the Mi-isi Gully stopped advancing and started collapsing, feeding successive pyroclastic flows down the southwest flank. That mechanism has not gone away. The lobe is still being fed. The collapse can repeat. Here is why Mayon is still dangerous even without one massive explosion. Mayon's lava is hypersteam andesite, thick, viscous, full of dissolved gas. When fresh lava reaches the summit crater, It piles up at the head of each gully. The lobe gets steeper. Eventually, the slope can no longer carry its own weight. The lobe collapses while it is still hot. When that happens, the lava releases dissolved gas on contact with the air. The gas blows the rock into ash and pumice. The mixture mobilizes as a pyroclastic density current, a ground-hugging cloud of hot debris that runs down the gully at speeds nobody can outrun. The interior of these flows can exceed 700 degrees Celsius, roughly 1,300 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to incinerate vegetation on contact. Hot enough to bury a road within minutes. Hot enough that PHIVOLCS has stated in every bulletin that entry into the danger zone must be strictly prohibited. And the pyroclastic flow is not the last danger. The hot rock and ash settle into the gullies and wait. When the monsoon rains arrive, and they have started arriving over Albay, those deposits remobilize as lahars, slurries of volcanic debris and water moving fast down the same channels the pyroclastic flows used. Here is what the other 3 Philippine volcanoes are doing right now. Bulusan, on southern Luzon, holds at alert level 1, low-level unrest. The seismic swarm reported earlier 442 volcano-tectonic earthquakes, 55 of them shallow, is what PHIVOLCS calls slow pressurization of the edifice. Shallow hydrothermal or tectonic processes are fracturing rock under the volcano. The agency's exact warning, increased seismicity, raises the chances of phreatic eruptions. Ground deformation data shows the northern flank inflating since June 2025 and the upper western flank since January. The 4-kilometer permanent danger zone is strictly prohibited. Kanlaon in the Visayas sits at alert level 2, moderate unrest with magma present at depth. During May 14th to 20th, the volcano recorded 6 to 31 volcanic earthquakes per day. 20 episodes of tremor lasting from 4 minutes to over an hour. Daily sulfur dioxide emissions ranged from 142 to 1,464 tons. The 4-kilometer permanent danger zone is strictly prohibited. Taal, about 65 kilometers south of Manila, holds at alert level 1. At 12:16 on May 17th, a minor phreatic eruption began. It lasted 3 minutes and produced a plume that rose 300 meters above the main crater. The entire Taal Volcano Island is the permanent danger zone. Pilots have been told not to fly over it. Here is what these 4 volcanoes have in common and what PHIVOLCS is watching next. They share a country sitting on the boundary between the Philippine Sea Plate and the Sunda Plate. They share a record of historical eruptions stretching back centuries. They share an active national monitoring system. They do not share alert levels. They do not share mechanisms. They do not share imminent eruption probabilities. What PHIVOLCS is watching across all 4 systems is the same set of monitoring signals: stronger ash emissions, sustained volcanic tremor, increased sulfur dioxide, more frequent pyroclastic flows at Mayon, new phreatic blasts at Bulusan or Taal, heavy rainfall remobilizing ash and pyroclastic deposits, particularly at Mayon as the monsoon arrives, and reports of anyone violating the permanent danger zones around any of them. This is not a warning of a countrywide volcanic disaster, but it is a serious volcano monitoring day in the Philippines. Mayon stays at alert level 3, Kanlaon stays at alert level 2, Bulusan and Taal stay at alert level 1. None of the 4 are at alert level 4 or 5. The question now is not whether all 4 volcanoes are about to erupt together. PHIVOLCS has not said that. The question is whether any one of them changes its monitoring pattern enough to trigger an alert escalation. The question is whether the communities near the danger zones are paying attention to the same bulletins the agency publishes every day. Mayon is the loudest signal. The lava is still flowing. The pyroclastic flows are still possible. The evacuation centers are still operational. But Mayon is not the only signal. Bulusan is fracturing. Kanlaon is degassing. Taal is steaming. 4 volcanoes, 1 country, 1 agency, 1 week of bulletins. If this story is worth telling, subscribe. We cover more of these every week.